Okay, on this section of notes, we're going to be doing a little bit of perimeter review to help us with our better understanding of dealing with perimeter problems. So in the first figure here, they give us a four-sided figure, and they're asking us to find the perimeter of the shape. Now remember, perimeter means to, perimeter means to find the sum of all the sides, which just basically tells us that we need to add all sides, okay? So I just have to add all the sides together. Now, I can either do this on a calculator or I can write it out a little bit. What I like to do is once I've written out one of the sides or I put it on my calculator, I'm going to kind of check it off just so I don't accidentally add it again. What I mean by that is, here's the first side, 1, plus here's the second side, 1, plus here's the third side, 1, plus here's the fourth and final side, 2. That way I know I've accounted for all the sides and I don't accidentally add side twice. So once I add all these numbers together, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 will give me 5 centimeters for my final answer for that one. Now, if they're asking us to just add up all the sides, that's pretty easy to do that. What might be a little more challenging is if they say, here's the perimeter, find the missing side. So in this case, we do not know what this side is, but what we do know is that the total perimeter is 18 units. So what I tend to do is I tend to kind of do what I did on the previous one, add up what I have and take it from there. So first off, I have 3 plus 5 plus 6. Now, if I add those three sides together, 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 plus 6 is 14. I can take that 14 and I can take it away from the total. Because whatever the difference between the total perimeter and what I have from the 3 of the 4 sides, whatever the difference, the subtraction is, must be, the answer here, must be what my missing side is. And 18 minus 14 is 4 units. Now we use units because they say, or we use U because they say units in the problem. Sometimes they don't specify the measurement, so that's why we use a lowercase u. And I can check this by simply just 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 4, and it does come out to be 18 units as what they said in the original part. Now this next one here says a square playground has sides that are 39 meters long. What is the playground's perimeter? Now, what will make this problem a lot easier is if we are able to see the square itself, because most of the time it's easier to see these rather than trying to read and just, make it up in our mind. I always say, when in doubt, draw it out. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and make a square. Okay? Doesn't look like a square, but if we treat it like a square, we'll be fine. Now, with this being a square, what we know is that all sides are going to be the same. So they're all going to be 39. So this is going to be 39 meters, 39 meters, 39 meters, 39 meters. Now there actually are 2 main ways we can handle this problem. So we're going to go over both of those. One is doing like we have been doing this whole time, is I'm just going to use all 4 sides. So 39 plus 39 plus 39, plus 39. And if I use my calculator and add all those together, I should end up with 156 meters. Now, since this was a square, what we could have done was just take what one side was and find the product or multiply it by how many sides there were, and we still would have ended up with 156 meters. Now, remember, that just works for squares, okay? That's why I don't tend to do that one too much. If you know you have a square, it's easy to use. But if you had a rectangle or, some obscure figure, that's not always going to work. Now, the perimeter on this next one, the perimeter of a poster is 12 feet. The poster is 4 feet tall. How wide is it? Now, typically, our posters are rectangles. So we're going to go ahead and make a rectangle there. Now, what did they tell us? They said it was 4 feet tall. That means we know that is 4 feet. And since this is a rectangle, if the right side is 4 feet, the left side has to be exactly the same. So really we need to figure out what the missing sides are here. Now, how I would approach this problem is let's go ahead and start out by taking that the perimeter is 12 feet. 12 feet. I'm going to take away the two sides that we already know, the 4 feet and the 4 feet. If I take away those two sides, I'm going to end up with 4 feet. Now, the deal here is this 4 feet is not my final answer. We know that 4 feet has to be split up evenly between these two sides. So we try to figure, well, what's half of 4? Because half of 4 is going to go here, and half of 4 is going to go here. That will leave us with 2 feet at each of these locations, which is how wide we were looking for the figure to be. Okay? Now, as always, if I wanted to check this real quick, if I were to do 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2, I would add all these together and I would still end up with the 12 feet that the perimeter originally said. And I'll conclude this section of notes. Make sure you're working on the assignment. And as always, if you have any questions, send me an email.